Hi, this is Lane8492. This is the only true crime story video I'm doing today. This is another one out in the state of Florida. This is the case of Florida death row inmate Norman Mearle Grim Jr. And his crime took place in Santa Rosa County in the Panhandle in northwestern Florida. You see, on July 27th, 1998, at 5 a.m. in the morning, a Santa Rosa County Sheriff's deputy responded to a disturbance call at the house of Cynthia Campbell, who was the neighbor of Norman Mearle Grim Jr. Apparently, Campbell reported a disturbance behind her home, and when the deputy investigated, he found a broken window and a chrome lug nut in the bushes below the window. Apparently, Norman Mearle Grim Jr. had invited Cynthia Campbell over for a cup of coffee before Deputy Lynch left. Two workers from Cynthia Campbell's law office went to her house later that morning and found her car at the driveway, but Campbell was not, but that they saw no sign of Cynthia Campbell in her house. So they called the sheriff's office who responded to the scene. And when the sheriffs questioned Norman Mearle Grim Jr. about the whole thing, they found reddish-brown stains. They noticed that Grim's shoulder and cut-off blue jean shorts had reddish-brown stains on them. And, of course, what Norman Mearle Grim Jr. claimed is that it was just red primer paint from his car. Later in that afternoon, on the same day of July 27, 1998, two fishermen who were out fishing hooked a human body, which was later identified to be that of Cynthia Campbell. It turns out Cynthia Campbell had been stabbed and beaten with a hammer. Earlier that morning, a co-worker of Grim's spotted him in his parked car on the Pensacola Bay Bridge with the car doors and trunk open. Surveillance camera videotape showed Grim entering a convenience store at the foot of the bridge shortly after he was seen parked there. And as a result, an investigation was done in Grim's house. And there they found bloody mops in the kitchen, two bloody fingerprints on a box of trash bags, a striped pillowcase that had blood on it in the kitchen trash, blood spots in the dining room, a pair of blue jean shorts with blood stains in the living room, bloody athletic shoes, rope consistent with rope used on Cynthia Campbell's body. More forensic evidence was found that determined that Norman Mearle Grim Jr. was the perpetrator in Cynthia Campbell's murder. And it matched that of the DNA of Norman Mearle Grim Jr. Norman Mearle Grim Jr. is set for execution on October 28th. October is probably going to be the busiest month in carrying out death sentences in this country, because 8 executions are now set in these states for October. And let's see what they are. One on October 10th in Indiana of Roy Lee Ward. I did a true crime video on him. One in Missouri of Lance Collins Shockley. I did a true crime video on him. Of course, for Roy Lee Ward, his is October 10th. Lance Collins Shockley's is on October 14th. One in Texas of Robert Leslie Robertson III. Of course, there are issues about doubts on his guilt. I mean, I'm a supporter of the death penalty, but I think they should be looked at. But unfortunately, the courts have refused to intervene. Also on October 17th will be the execution of Richard Kenneth Jerf in Arizona. I did a true crime video on him. And on October 15th will be the execution of Charles Ray Crawford in Mississippi, and I've already done a true crime video on him. On October 23rd, there will be the execution of Anthony Todd Boyd. Of course, his will be by nitrogen hypoxia in Alabama. because yesterday Alabama carried out the nitrogen hypoxia execution of Jeffrey Todd West. And I already did a video on him, just like I did a true crime video on Anthony Todd Boyd. And there are 2 executions in October in Florida. One on October 14th of Samuel Lee Smithers. I did a true crime video on him. Then on October 28th, as I mentioned, Norman Mearle Grim Jr. That means you got executions in these states in October: Indiana, Arizona, Missouri, Mississippi, Texas, and Florida. So that's 8 executions in 6 states, which means it's going to be very busy that year. Plus, with Charles Ray Crawford, I just saw a story on him behind the barn on Your Worst Nightmare. So yes, executions are at an all-time high this year. It could be 45 or even more before this year is over. So yeah, it looks like executions are picking up the pace this year in the United States. This is Lane 8492. I have an associate's, bachelor's, and master's degree in criminal justice. Hope you enjoy this video, and let me know what you think. Thanks.